Hello guys, this week we're back looking at our Volvo A40D rock truck, and in the previous episode we put the 2 drive motors in the front and I said I'd order the 6 motors, and so they have arrived. And what I'm going to do in this episode hopefully will be to add all 4 rear drive motors. So if we take a look here, the rear section is maybe a little bit more compact than the front section. At the front here we had all of the space between here, whereas at the back I'm assuming this section will come out, but we're going to have the battery case in the way for this axle here. So what I'm going to try and do is take the model apart, see how much of this is removed. I don't actually need the battery case, so I could always just cut into that, and then I'll 3D print some motor mounts to hold our N20 motors in place here. Now with this last one, as you can see, it's all taped up here because the plastic started to crack. So maybe at some point I'll get some aluminium box section, well, kind of a rectangular aluminium tube, and mount the N20 motors inside that, because I think that would be much stronger, and I've seen it done on the forum in a John Deere 9560R and it looked really good. So I'll probably try that to make some stronger axles and just 3D mount the brackets that hold those aluminium pieces in place. That probably would be the easiest thing for me to do. I took the model apart yesterday, and you can see here's a little gearbox that lifts up this rear bed of the rock truck here, and there's just a little motor, same as all the other ones. We cheap I suppose RC car motor. It's just a very common toy motor there, and looks like the very same kind of slip clutch arrangement and a little gearbox that was in the other half, so it's not much new to see there. But when you take that out of the way, and if we take a look under the model now, so our battery pack was there, and our wheels, this camera focuses back again, they go in like that. They sit in there, and if you take them out, it actually turns out that we pretty much have the right spaces for our motors here. So I just need to file a little piece off this side to let this motor down, and I'll just need to file a little piece off here to let this motor in, and then we should be pretty much perfect. I'll 3D print some little pieces that'll hold that in place, and a little cover plate as well, and I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully that'll be that simple. That'll leave us, we haven't modified any of this cavity or the battery pack, so we have all this space. We'll probably put a lithium ion battery in there, a bigger one, maybe 7.4 volts for the servo, or maybe I'll get a better 3.7 volt servo for the steering here, because the one I have is not working great. It's okay, but it seems to be jamming for some reason, so might look into that. But the next thing we're going to do is 3D print these pieces, and I'll just skip ahead to that point. Okay, so I filed down these edges here to let the motors in, and you can see I put this little plastic base plate that's just going to hopefully stop the motors from sliding back and forward there. This isn't exactly perfect, but to be honest, I don't really have time to do it perfectly this week, so what I'll do is just kind of do this little demo, and I'll upgrade it later on, because I still have to upgrade the front as well, because it's not right either. Here's the back plate. I had to make space for this little bump here, and also file that down to let the motors in. So now, if we take 4 of our motors here, see, our motors are just going to sit in place there. These ones are pretty good because the body of the model is going to hold it together. This one I probably should have printed some sort of a wall there to push that in, but I also have a top piece here that I'm going to screw in place, and that'll hopefully hold all the motors in place. The back ones are a little bit too loose and it's a little bit too high here, but for this little test it should be fine. We'll see how it works. So the next thing I'm going to do is solder on a few wires there and drill a few holes here and screw these motors in place, and hopefully they'll stay in place long enough for us just to get a little test run out of it and see if we have a lot more power, or if we're going to need to maybe get stronger motors or something like that. Well, I decided to just hold the motors in with cable ties for now, and I wired them in series there, or in parallel there, so that they would both turn the same way, and brought the cable along here, joined it in to the motors in the front here just to test. I still need to change the motors there, but I was having the problem of the motors or the Arduino browning out as we had with the Subaru. So that was one problem, but I tried to solve that by hooking it up to a 5-volt power supply, and for some reason I seem to have fried the board. I'm getting no signal now, so that's all I'm going to have time for this week. I'll have to make up a new board and retest this again next week. It's unfortunate that went like that. I'm not sure why the little board would have failed there at 5 volts, because I'm pretty sure it should be fine at 5 volts. The NRF is regulated to 3.3 volts, and the Atmega chip should be capable of handling 5 volts, but something has gone wrong there, and I'm going to have to investigate that, but I don't have time for it this week. So in the next video I'll try and figure out what went wrong there and try and improve it. I probably would have had to change that board anyway, because now that the NRF is on the board, I don't think I can reprogram the Atmega chip, so I would have had to create another board anyway, which I don't have time to do this week. So unfortunately we didn't make a whole lot of progress in this video, but hopefully in the next video we'll get a good bit further and be able to test this model. It's looking pretty good so far. The spacing of the N20 motors there isn't taking up a huge amount of space, so we can get a pretty big motor in here to lift the bed of the trailer, and with 6 N20 motors we should have loads of pulling power. So hopefully this will be a really good truck when we finally get it finished. But for now, that's all I have time for this week. So if you like the video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions, I'm happy to answer them in the video or the forum when I can get a chance. And I think that's pretty much everything. So thanks very much for watching.